Alright, welcome back guys. In this tutorial we want to set up our project environment. Okay, so how do we actually do that? Okay, let's get started. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to go straight down to my PC. Okay, I'm going to go straight down to my PC. I right click, I click on a particular I click on folder and I create L page. Okay, so this is the project folder called landing page. All right, from inside this place, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go straight down inside and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it assets. All right, so I'm going to log in into this asset folder, and what I'm going to do again is I'm creating another folder. All right, the folder I'm actually going to create now is called img, which is my image folder. Okay, so creating my from my asset folder, so I can log in back to my asset folder. It is not the image folder I want to create alone. I still want to create some folder. Or what are the folder I want to create? I want to create a folder called CSS, and I want to create a folder called JavaScript. So, but that JavaScript is going to be JS. All right, right now let's go back to the landing page. I'm going to close it right now. I'm clicking it back. I'm saying the landing page has an asset folder. The asset folder has a CSS folder. The CSS folder is empty, good. And the image folder is empty, good. And also the JavaScript is empty, good. All right, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go straight down to my Sublime Text. We are going to be making use of Sublime Text for the purpose of your coding. All right, what is Sublime Text? Sublime Text is basically a text editor, like a code editor. We normally use it to write our codes. All right, so I have installed it. If you have some other text editor or code editor in mind, like Visual Studio Code, like Bracket, like Atom, you can still make use of it. All right, for the purpose of this training, we are making use of what? Sublime Text. All right, if you don't know how to install Sublime Text, you can just go to Google and YouTube and click on Sublime Text installation. You're going to see it there. Okay, so right now I will have to drag this thing straight down to the sidebar of my Sublime Text. I dropped it. So once I dropped it, as you can see, I minimize it halfway before I drag it down. So that's my own best way of, you can probably select the project folder from here, but I just love to drag it. So that's my best way of setting up my own environment. Oh, sorry. Okay, at times I'm always very lazy to start searching for the locations from the file. All right, so good. So now what we are doing right now is that we've already had all these set up in our Sublime Text. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is that we are creating from this landing page. You can see I click this landing page, I right click, we're going to create a file called index.html. all right, so okay, so let me click on new file and I press Ctrl S. Ctrl S is going to take me straight down to the landing page folder. So inside this place, I'm actually going to say index.html. So when I click on enter, it's going to give me an empty space. But I'm clicking on Ctrl S right now. I want to go and see whether I have it straight down in my, okay, I have it straight down, and you can see I have it straight down in my L page. Oh, sorry, I think this is it. This is the L page. I have it in my L page. You can see I have an empty folder. All right, so let's now go straight down to our Sublime Text and write our HTML code. It's just to create a boiler template. So what do I mean by boiler template? Boiler template is just like an HTML clean template without having a content. So I'll type HTML and press Ctrl spacebar. So when I click on enter, so the intelligence of Sublime Text creates this for me. I press Ctrl S and from the title I type landing page. Okay, so okay, let's press Ctrl S. I want to show you something real quick. All right, you can see this is still an index, but I've saved it. So if I've saved it right now and I reload, you can see it changed from index to landing page from the top. All right, let's go back to our code. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going straight down to our Bootstrap. Okay, let's go back to our Bootstrap. Get Bootstrap. Bootstrap is what we're going to be making use of as a framework to build this framework to build this particular project. All right, go back to Bootstrap. I want to use Bootstrap 4. So I want to go back to release and let's use Bootstrap 4.4. Okay. Well, let's scroll down. So what I will do here is that I'll just have to copy this CSS. So, and I'll paste it inside the header. All right. So at times I don't like all these cross, anonymous, integrity, or whatever. So I always like to delete them to have my code clean. All right. Okay, so I have I have href, so I think I'm good with that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to locate where I could find all these folder. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to type link and press enter. So now I want to locate CSS. I want to locate JavaScript. Okay, so from the CSS, all I have to do is that and I want to locate CSS and JavaScript, like I said. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm just going to, from this href, I'm going to say I'm locating a folder called CSS. I'm locating a folder called CSS. From that folder, what am I creating? I am creating a custom CSS. So, or let me say I'm creating a style CSS. Style.css file. You know, this file I have not created it yet in this folder, so I have to copy it. You know, this file I have not created anything. So I will now mouse over on the CSS file. I right click and I click on what? Create new file. So what is the file? It's going to be called style CSS. So let me save it. So let me go back to my HTML and save it again. I want to create another file, CSS file. I want to call it responsive. So I'm copying down below. So here I'll just go to delete it. I'm going to delete it and type responsive. So here I just have to copy this again. All right, and I have to what? I have to right click on the CSS folder and I press Ctrl S and I press Ctrl V and I type enter. So I've successfully created two files, one from inside the CSS folder. So I just want to create another JavaScript folder, but here I have to go straight down to my Bootstrap again and copy this entire JavaScript code. All right, so that is the CDN. All right, so let me go back to the code and I'm going to paste this straight down inside the body tag. So like I said, I don't always like all these anonymous whatever, so I have to delete it just to keep my code clean. Okay, I just have to delete it just to keep my code clean. Just have to delete this just to keep my code clean. All right. Okay, so let me press Ctrl S. Once you do that, let me align it. So like I said, I want to create a file called JavaScript. So all I have to do is just right click on highlight all this, the last script tag, and I copied it and I save it. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going straight down to JavaScript. So let me shrink this so that my code is going to look so clean and clear. So I right click on this new file, Ctrl S, and I want it to be custom.js. Now for me to make no mistakes of spellings, I just have to copy this name. So that's what I do. So I go back to this place and I highlight all this. Okay, and I press asset / JavaScript / So what I'm saying is that I'm locating assets to JavaScript folder. From JavaScript folder, I created a file called as custom.js. And as a matter of fact, we made a couple of mistakes right there. The folder we are going to see first is the asset folder. So I have to type assets / CSS before style. So I'm going to copy this from above and I'm going to right click, copy and paste this thing right here to Ctrl V. All right, what we've successfully done is that we have set up our project environment where we are going to be putting our content. Let's go back to that particular page and save it. We're still not going to have any words. We're still not going to have anything displaying because we don't have a content yet already. All right, this is how to actually set up a project environment for your your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript support project. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this, and see you in the next one.